Hello everyone, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so happy to have you here. We are going to dive straight into your reading today and see what we get. It is absolutely beautiful here in Florida. I hope that it's pretty where you are too, and that you're enjoying a really beautiful day, or that you have. Poor Pisces. Okay. Wow. All right. You know, honestly, I feel like this actually feels like a bit of a new relationship, or a newer relationship. It's interesting because, like, just looking at the cards, I might think it's a past person, but it honestly feels like something that's just starting out. And how do I want to say this? You know, it's a general reading, right? So there are going to be multiple different scenarios, but this feels like something that's either, you know, it's relatively new, or it hasn't happened yet, or it's, you know, you've been kind of going along with someone, you see a lot of potential. It hasn't maybe totally quite materialized, but you know, it has the potential. Like, it feels like it has the potential. All right. So those are the three scenarios that I'm really picking up here. All right. And the X involved, I don't necessarily feel like this is an actually tangible person. I mean, obviously their ex is a tangible person, but I don't feel like they're playing a role in this connection. I think it's the like experience that your person had with that person, and that is playing a role. It seems like it's like a bit of background noise. You know, whenever we've been like traumatized, or we've had, this feels like it was traumatic, in that it feels like it left your person in a space where they felt they couldn't necessarily trust themselves or their judgment when it came to people or relationships, or yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Now you have this energy of minor setback and mommy issues. You know, the one person in the world that's supposed to love us unconditionally is our mother, right? And when we end up with a mom who loves us conditionally, or, you know, on the spectrum all the way to abandons us entirely or abuses us, you know, that is kind of a life-altering experience, right? And I feel it's, with this particular connection, it feels a little bit like this person is somewhere on that spectrum with their mom, and then with an ex. And you know, the words gun shy are what are really coming up. I do feel like this person, with the palm tree here, it is actually giving me that this person has like work to heal. Palm trees are incredibly resilient. You know, living in Florida, I have palm trees in my front yard. You know, we have hurricanes. I've seen palm trees bend at 45-degree angles. And they may not come all the way back to straight, but they also don't break. And I always think of them in terms of like recovery or being resilient or being able to withstand what life brings at you. And they also have a very small, relative to their height, root base. And I'm always just amazed that more of them do not blow completely over or completely uproot in storms. It is pretty wild. They bend, but they hold on to the earth. They hold on to their roots. They hold on to, they stay grounded somehow, and they bend, but they don't break. And it kind of feels like that's this person's energy. And so in the beginning of whatever this is, it feels as though they have a moment where, relationships cause us to come kind of face to face with our fears, with our wounds, with our insecurities. And it feels as though that happens in this case, which is nothing out of the ordinary. I don't feel like it's anything to worry about. I don't feel like it's a major big deal at all. It says even minor setback here. But it's a moment where I feel like this person, has to kind of pause and breathe and ground and center and find that resiliency within them to continue on. And it actually feels kind of beautiful. For some of you, I feel as though this person may even like communicate about this or talk about this. It just depends. So if you are in a newer connection and someone pulls back for a moment and they don't really offer you too much in the way of an explanation, it's coming up as like getting their bearings, yeah, like just getting their bearings. You have this energy of 1 week and within 1 month. So, these are definitely short time frames. I'm not 1,000% sure what they're in relation to, if they're in relation to this minor setback or if there's something separate. We're gonna take a look here. I just got, for some of you, this is actually past. Like, yeah, look at this. Okay. This may have been something that already happened. Whenever we pause and we take a break and we kind of ground and center and we, have to sort of regulate our own emotional, system. We a lot of times will ask ourselves, is this worth it? Is this risk worth it? Is it worth it to face these things? Is it worth it to put myself through this? And, there's also this energy, is this enough to kind of stop me from pursuing it? It's kind of asking two sides of the same coin, right? And you have the children involved. I feel like it is this person's more like inner child. For some of you, this can be a very literal translation of the cards where you have a person who has kids with someone else who's, you know, divorced or divorcing or something like that, where that person is not wanting to release your person, not wanting to let go of your person, not wanting to see your person in a new lifestyle. In which case I would just tell you to be careful. You know, those situations are always a bit tumultuous. But there are ways of navigating it, and there is information out there available, you know, if you are looking for something, some guidance on that. But what I continuously keep picking up on for the majority of you is this energy of, you know, is this the end? You know, no. Is this bigger than my desire for the connection? No. You know, and it is that children involved is giving me, you know, I always think of things in terms of Tara Brach's rain. What is it called when you have the first letter of every word? I can't remember, but that's what rain is. It stands for other things. And so when you feel yourself get emotionally charged or, you know, in a situation that is, you know, kind of causing you to feel a little dysregulated, you relax and you analyze what's happening. And part of that analyzation is am I reacting to what is happening right now, or am I reacting because of an old wound that is being triggered by what's happening right now? And we investigate, you know. I can never, whenever I'm reading, I can't remember what all the letters stand for actually. But I know the method because I've done it. But it feels as though this person is like kind of working their way through this and sort of realizing, okay, you know, it's kind of that my inner child. And then as they are able to regulate their emotional system, it becomes clear to this person that they do want to reconnect, you know, that this is something that is worth it to them, that they are going to have to push through, you know, some old wounding, that they are going to have to step beyond their fear and their doubt, and, you know, their past experiences. But this person with new lifestyle on the bottom of the deck is someone that is embracing healing. They are someone who is like, I don't want to continuously repeat a past pattern. You know, I do not want, you know, what has happened to me or my past experiences to dictate my future. You know, I want it all. I want what I deserve from life, which is definitely not to just be someone whom this happened to at one point. So I'm going to choose this new lifestyle. I'm going to choose this opportunity, and I'm going to choose to push past the fear. I'm going to choose to relax. I'm going to choose to take the breath. I'm going to choose to investigate. I'm going to choose to, you know, nurture myself and hold my own hand and walk myself through this space. And I do keep feeling here for some of you, there is even like an opportunity for a depth of intimacy that occurs because this person feels safe in sort of sharing this experience with you. Which I honestly feel like this is someone who doesn't share that experience. Like at all or ever, you know? So in 1 week, you have shift your focus and relationship improvements. And that is what I was picking up on here. It's like there could potentially be a deepening of a level of intimacy around whatever is happening over here, whatever this person is working through, including even if it is the literal translation of the cards, which is they have a baby mama that's off the chain. You know what I mean? I feel like, okay, there's an opportunity for you to communicate, for this person to understand that you're not that way, or that, you know, you have a different way of being, or that you understand where they're coming from, or, you know, that you are a source of strength and companionship in a dark time, you know, that you can handle it, that you're not going to run because of it. Look at this. You just keep getting, see that that's like the rain energy, that pause before acting. I was picking up on that too. And you have deepening bond and soul journey, and you have it's not personal with the 6 on the bottom of the deck, which is saying, you know, if this person pulls back, or if they take a break, or it's not even a break, it's a breath, you know, it's not personal. It's not something that you said. It's not something that happened between you. It's more just kind of like what this person is dealing with, faces in their life, that they're working through for this connection. You know, every time, I keep getting this, like every time this person has this feeling and then is able to sort of work through it, it gets easier and easier and easier, to the place where they're not, you know, being triggered anymore. You know, it's interesting because, you know, there are relationships where we hope or we feel like maybe someone's going to change. I don't even think this person needs to change. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't think you're fixing anything. You know, what was it I saw on the bottom of the deck there that said new improved lifestyle or something like that, or new lifestyle, or new life situation or something like that? This person, it has made the choice. And that's very different than dealing with someone who's not really acknowledging it, dragging their feet on dealing with it. This is someone who's motivated to change, to have a different experience. And that you're going to know that, you're going to sense that, you're going to feel that. It's not like, you know, in past situations, maybe where you were dealing with someone who was kind of avoidant, or, you know, wasn't, you know, was kind of like, well, you know, I was abandoned as a child, and, you know, as a result of that, like, I have these issues with relationships and blah, 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 blah. And you were like, okay, I can handle it. No, this is like someone who presents it with, and I've been working on it, and I'm just determined not to let it dictate to me, you know, how my life goes. Like, this is someone who has taken charge of it and continues to take charge of it, and isn't making you be the one to pay for it. You know, isn't making you be the one to like work them through it or teach them about it. And it's beautiful, like how it's coming through to me, because it's giving you a chance to actually really shine, like your beautiful, loving energy, and for it to be appreciated and acknowledged, you know, because you're not having to hold it all together. You're just walking this person home. You're just walking beside them. I would say you're holding their hand, you know what I mean? But, and maybe that is the case. Like, I am getting something about holding a hand, like even possibly as they're talking, maybe you hold their hand, but you're just listening. All of your innate beautiful qualities are just able to shine through without needing. It's giving me like a martini. Okay. You know, it's like a vodka martini or a gin martini. If you have a really beautiful vodka or gin, and you have it as a martini, and you just sip it and you just appreciate it, and it's just a beautiful drink, and it's a singular ingredient, but it feels really special, you know? Or you can have a gin and tonic, or, you know, which is also good, but the gin, but it's like not like Oh my God. I don't know. All I can see is martinis. It's hilarious. I don't even drink martinis, um, but anyway, it's really funny. It's just showing me that when something is crystal clear, when something is pure, and when it can be appreciated in its purest form, and it's, holding space for someone, being a non-judgmental, unconditional space for someone is one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful gift that you can give to any other being. And the Pisces that I have had in my life, that I've been lucky enough to have very close relationships with, have all really been that way for me. And so it's kind of like, there's no mask. You don't have to be anything other than who you are. You don't have to solve the problem. You don't have to have the answer. You don't have to have it all figured out. It's literally just about acceptance and understanding. And you've got that in spades. Like, that's what it's showing me. And you're not dealing with someone who's going to vent and dump all the time and not do anything about it. You're dealing with someone who is honestly and genuinely working through the like fog, or they're working through the understanding, the deeper like level of consciousness about their own experience and about themselves. Even it's it's really, honestly, truly beautiful. Okay. And then you have you got this card, you have this, there's still hope, and then you have this like not over, and it's this very muscular person. This is like this person finding their strength. It is like this person sort of muscling through their own kind of chaos. You see how there's all this like energy here. This is someone who is grounding and centering and finding their strength and navigating it in a very big way. And they are, fear and doubt always want to creep in when we're having this battle within ourselves, and they're always kind of looking to win. Our ego is the loudest voice in the room, and it's always trying to protect us and keep us safe. And so as this person works through this, of course the ego is going to come in and say, oh, just walk away, it isn't worth it, this is going to be really difficult for you, da 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 da. And it's like I feel this strength erupting in this person and saying, nope, this is what I want, and I'm strong enough to have this, and I'm strong enough to do this for myself and to continuously find hope. Again, I'm getting communication with this letters and this our song. This person may like divulge this inner conflict to some degree somehow. They might send you a song and be like, I heard this song and I thought of you. Or they might, write you something because they can't say it out loud. Or they may just even send you a text like, thinking about you, love you, I hope you got home okay, take care of yourself, like, something that says, what, I care about you. I am just getting this energy with our song where either you like there is a song that describes this that you have found and that you share, or it is even giving me that vibe of when every song reminds you of someone. Like you're driving down the street and you find yourself singing along and going like, oh yeah, that's how that person makes me feel. Or, oh wow, that like totally sums it up for me. or you know what I mean? And like, yeah, I feel like sometimes people have difficulty expressing themselves like just directly, and can find it easier to express themselves through songs. You know, I get songs as messages all the time. And I mean, I get them even just all the time. And it is really crazy. Um, it is so crazy. This happened to me this morning. And it took me immediately right back there. Like it flashed in my mind. I've told you guys that my cousin passed away like at Halloween and 10 years ago. And this morning I always put on like a Spotify shuffle mix or whatever when I am making my tea. And I put it on, and a song that I associate with my cousin came on right away. And then the song that followed up right after that was our grandmother's favorite song. And it was just, when the song came on that reminded me of my cousin, I was like, oh, wow, how crazy. Wow, yeah, it's Halloween today. And then the next song came on, it was my grandma's favorite song, our shared grandmother's favorite song. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was at the grocery store, and our grandmother's favorite song came on. And I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And so, and it's like Anne Murray. Like, you don't hear Anne Murray just rolling around. But yeah, I feel something like that kind of energy where, you know, for me, the feeling that it elicited was, oh my gosh, love never dies. You know, love is always there. Love is always present. You know, like they're finding a way to communicate, you know, and that's how I feel about this card. It's like, you know, just finding a way to communicate, finding a way to say what you want to say. Like, even if it is sending a song, or even if it's like, yeah, I heard this song and it made me think of you. This is the song, you know what I mean? Or whatever. There's something here with this music and communication, and finding a way to try to like help you to understand them, you know? And like, I keep feeling like for this person, it is difficult to share. Well, it is for most of us, right? But there's this vibe of wanting to, you know, feeling safe to, feeling comfortable to, where I feel like this person is not like that. Like they don't usually either feel that way or make the attempt. But here it's like, yeah, even just the random songs in random places at random times are making them like, I am getting like even like grocery store music, or like, you know, finding yourself like tuning in. I don't think I usually notice the music in the grocery store very much. You know, I have gotten signs at the grocery store multiple times through music, but I think that like normally I don't even hear the music because I don't ever remember what's playing. But then every once in a while, like a specific song will play, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know? And it feels like this person could be like completely unaware and then find themselves singing along to it, or thinking of you and feeling like, oh, wow, you know, like even catching themselves. Yeah, look at that. You've got the Queen of Cups, the Lovers, and the Page of Pentacles. You're giving this person a valuable gift of this like unconditional love, and it's really making this person want to come to you. This is opposite of so many of the experiences that you've had in the past. That's what I'm getting. It's like this person is not perfect. This person has baggage. This person has, you know, childhood wounding. However, this person has made the choice to evolve, and to look at, you know, okay, what can I learn from this? Okay, how can I grow from this? And how can I transmute this energy? And, you know, you are helping them, and they are choosing you, you are choosing them. The angels are watching over this. It's almost like, I feel like with the angels, it's like, here are two people who have been hurt, who deserve love, who are ready for their soul contract. And like, we're bringing them together now. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I just keep getting this feeling of like two people who really have made the choice to heal, to work through the difficulty, to love at the deepest degree, and even to, you know, healing requires us to love ourselves, you know? And when you choose to heal, you're choosing to treat yourself in a loving way. And, you know, the Lover's card is about choice. And it feels like, you know, maybe you make this choice with yourself first, and then you have this opportunity to make this choice with the other next. And it's like two people who individually chose that and then choose each other. And there's so much patience in this energy. There's so much space and calmness in this energy of just like the freedom to, you know, just be, and to discover ourselves and the other, and like unravel this mystery. I don't know, it's really sort of profound and beautiful, but there are a lot of spiritual lessons to be learned in this space as well. You know, we don't just learn from suffering, you know, and it feels almost like one of the spiritual lessons is like seeing ourselves through someone else's eyes, like understanding our worth, or like knowing that we're having a positive impact on another person without trying, without fixing, without solving, without having the answer, just by listening, just by being, just by being you and being non-judgmental, just by through the energy of acceptance and understanding. And it's like, it's a very high vibrational kind of energy that is rare. You know, it's rare to connect with another person on this level. It's rare to even kind of like have that sort of opportunity where, you know, I mean, you have probably have extended this to other people in the past. I say this as I flip over the Seven of Swords. And this is what it keeps giving me. This is opposite of every other experience you've had. It's like you may have extended the same kindness and the same unconditionality and the same acceptance to other people. And those people may have taken advantage of it because they couldn't face themselves, because they weren't ready to be able to accept it. Yeah, look at this. You know, you have this Five of Wands, Five of Pentacles, Seven of Swords, you know, clarifying this energy. And it's like, I feel like, you know, Pisces with the Five of Wands clarifying the Queen of Cups with this conversation that we're having. It's kind of like every time you tried to do this in the past, it was rejected. It was blocked. It was an obstacle. It didn't work. It, created conflict, because when you are in this energy, you are still water. You are a perfect reflection to that person of themselves. And if that person looks at themselves with hate, with loathing, with disappointment, with judgment, with whatever, they're going to project that onto you because you're still water. If you are dealing with someone who is opening and softening and healing and loving themselves and you know, choosing growth and all those things, that person is going to admire those qualities in you. That still water is going to reflect that back to them. And they're going to see it as beauty instead of a threat. You see what I'm saying? And so you being you in the past may have triggered other people. You know, the higher your vibration is and the more authentic and comfortable you are with yourself, the more you trigger other people because you're still water. And You have the Lovers here being clarified by the Five of Pentacles. I feel like this person, your person, never could find any, all they found in the search for love, all they wanted was to be chosen. All they wanted was to matter. And every time they turned around, right, they found more abandonment, more wounding, people that played to their insecurities, people who probably gaslit them and made them, feel inadequate and unworthy, and so to have someone that listens to them like they're fascinating and doesn't judge them and doesn't, need them to be anything other than they are, allows them to be so truly and completely who they are. And so you have dealt with people who are misaligned and who they're on that path, they're not, they came into your life to help you change through conflict, to help you see like your own beauty, your own worth, your own strength. They were not here to be your forever person. But in some way they prepared you for this moment, in some way they led you to yourself on a very authentic level. You had to peel away the masks and ask yourself, am I this person? Am I that? Am I, unworthy? Am I, whatever people made you try to feel like you were, and is anyone ever going to choose me? And they made you question that. And every time you question that, you get closer to your truth, because you're asking the questions and you're looking and you're like, wait, no, I am definitely worthy. I definitely, was treating this person with unconditional love. My intention was this. All I ever tried was this. And, here's who I am, and in having to discover that, in having to, question it, it helped you to solidify the truth about it. And now that is who you are presenting to this person. Somebody who doesn't need to wear a mask, somebody who's definitely not even going to attempt to pretend to be someone other than who they are for anyone, for any reason. You've learned that lesson. You're over that. And it's like perfect freaking timing, because here they come. Here comes the person that's going to look at that and be like, oh my gosh, I think I just found what I'm looking for. Yeah. Remember here, we're talking about this energy of, old things coming back, possibly old relationships with our parents, relationships with our ex-spouses, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends. It's all kind of coming up. Like I said, that energy, all the times that we had to question ourselves, really just led us to ourselves, to our most authentic self, to the self that is inside when there is no mask. And this is the space where we have the true capacity to build something, solid and stable with another person that lasts the test of time, because it's so authentic. Each pentacle, each investment that we're making, it's not based on anything false. It's not based on anything fake. It's not based on whether or not I can continue to bend myself to be who you need me to be, or I can keep you from, letting fear and doubt take over and running. This isn't something built on quicksand. This is built on authenticity and truth. And there is nothing more real in a person than the Page of Cups. And, you know, this is what you truly have to offer. And when someone looks at what you truly have to offer in your authenticity in that Page of Cups energy and goes, oh my gosh, I am the luckiest person in the world to freaking be sitting here in front of you, to be on the receiving end of this offer, to be near you, close to you, to get this love, for any of it. Like, that's the best feeling in the world, you know, because you are being truly loved and accepted for who exactly you are. No pretenses, no mask, no nothing. It's just, it's like, it keeps giving me a martini, you guys. I don't know what that is about, but it's weird because it's making me want a martini. And first of all, I don't drink that much, but second of all, I don't think I've ever in my entire life had a martini, but it's like ice cold. It's like giving me this, like, and it's actually kind of cold here today, so I don't know what is up with this. But, and then this kid is holding a cup. I was like, geez, what is going on? Who knows? But because, right, it is so, our authentic self is our most vulnerable self. You know, the self we have with no masks, you know, if someone looks at that and judges that, you know, if someone, you know, if someone sees who we really are and says that that's not good enough, that's not worthy, that's not, that, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, how could I withstand that? There's also a vibe here of, you know, this actually feels so good to be loved for who I truly am, right? That if I lost it, you know, and especially if there is some kind of fear of abandonment here, where it's like, you know, if now this time I was abandoned, like, that would truly be painful. So with the Two of Swords, this is representing that little glitch, that minor setback, right? Where, you know, the Two of Swords is minor. It's a minor arcana, and it is a very, normally it's a very temporary thing where it's like, okay, you know, I have to kind of withdraw into myself to kind of feel how I feel and see what I see and think how I think, like, without any, you know, external pressure or interference or influence. You know, it's like I just have to be me with me and not take on any more kind of information, to just, only I know my journey, only I know how it's affected me, and only I can find the answer to this question. And so it is that kind of seeking energy of like, I need to know how I feel this time. I need to know if I'm strong enough to make it through this, if I can do this, if I can relax and open up to this. I have to face my fear. I have to face all the times that people did stuff like this to me, you know, that were deceptive to me, that appeared to be loving and appeared to be authentic and then weren't. I have to ask myself, you know, how do I feel? Whoops, I grabbed the wrong deck. Yeah, it's like, it's not in not having any fear. You know, it is instead about, what do we do with it? Wow. Oh my God. I love this energy. I mean, holy mackerel, guys. So you have the Page of Wands clarifying the Ten of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. This is what this person wants. They just want to be who they are. They just want to be loved and seen and cared for and appreciated for the soul that they are. Without any, like, I need, without any expectation, without any, you know, unfair attachment, without any toxicity, just purely chosen for their own true, unique, simple beauty. And they want to build with that person. They want to make something that lasts beyond, you know, this moment. They want to build something that has value for a long time to come, possibly even beyond this life, you know? And with the Two of Swords is being clarified by the freaking Knight of Cups in the world. Like, they don't want to protect themselves. They don't want to stay safe. They don't want to be stagnant. They want to follow their heart. So this moment, this breath of pulling all their senses in and checking themselves out and asking themselves, okay, you know, can I keep doing this? Am I brave enough to continue to follow my heart? Do I have this? Was that enough of a breath? Did, you know, I kind of just needed it to like reassess where I'm at and where I'm going and what I'm doing here. And I think it's enough, right? Because we saw that desiring reconnection. Like, this is someone who's working their way back to you almost instantly. They just have to check in with themselves. They just have to shut it down and work through whatever needs to be worked through. But with the World card here, this is the ending of a major cycle in this person's life. They've already chosen healing. They've already chosen growth for themselves. And they've already been on that path. And this is someone who, you know, has already processed it enough times that when they pull back, they're just going over it again. Like, okay, here we are. And this is how I deal with this. Right. You know, this isn't someone who's trying to invent the wheel. You have the Nine of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. And with these two nines, we have the Nine of Swords on the bottom of this deck and the Nine of Pentacles on this deck. And, you know, this is giving me, you know, the nines are always like who we are by ourselves. This is like a single energy. And, you know, with the Nine of Pentacles here, this feels like you're not, I don't want to say you're not worried about the situation, but you're not so focused. Like, your whole life doesn't revolve around this relationship to the point that it, you know, this person needing a breath for a couple of days or whatever it is, doesn't throw you into this energy of fear and anxiety. You have built a life for yourself, and you have done your own healing and your own stuff, so that when this happens, you're I want to say status quo, but it's really, status quo is like a huge understatement as to what this is. It's like you're okay on your own. You're solid and stable. You've got the rest of your life that you're dealing with. You're not, you know, seeking solace from this person as this person is seeking solace from themselves. Like, you have the ability to just sort of give them the space they need to figure it out for themselves without, you know, upsetting your own apple cart and keeping yourself really focused on like all the abundance that's in your life and everything that you have set up to catch you if you fall. And, you know, if God forbid this person breaks your heart, you know, you're going to be okay. And you reevaluate that and you look at it again and you go, yeah, I'm going to be okay. And, you know, I think that is also very reassuring for your person. You know, and we see that in these oracle cards that are talking about every chance they got, like a deepening of a level of commitment or a deepening of the relationship, and of the bond, a deepening of the bond. I think that's what it said. And it's because it's like they can trust you to do your thing and you can trust them to do their thing. And I think that's different than what you've experienced in the past. In the past, maybe you felt you had to fix it for other people. Or maybe you never got the chance to fix it for other people. Maybe they ghosted and ran. You know, whatever. But with this, it's like, okay, that person can go and they will figure it out and they will come back. And they always come back. And you don't necessarily need them to come back because you're okay on your own. So it's a really beautiful sort of energy here. And that is a very healthy, you know, space to be in. You have the Five of Cups with the Four of Wands here. And, you know, this is like, you know, comparison is the thief of joy, right? And I want to say, like, we really shouldn't, right, compare. And I kind of am getting this more as an observation than a true comparison anyway, but it's kind of like, you know, in past situations, it's like you were always trying to find a solution. You were always trying to figure it out. It was so draining. You were always trying to like figure out how to be what needed to be in order for it to work, and trying to figure out how to like offer somebody love in a way in which they could accept it and reciprocate it. And it was just exhausting and like fruitless is what I'm getting. But with this person, there's something here about it feeling so easy. Like every time you look over your shoulder, there they are, you know, and, you know, this feels real. It feels like you're establishing a true foundation for something. And in this energy, you know, with the Seven of Cups on the bottom of the deck, when you have the Seven of Cups and the Five of Cups, there's this energy of like, it's almost like your mind sort of taking you into spaces of, you know, trying to fill in the blanks, basically, is what I'll say. It's like, well, I know this and I know that, but I don't know why they're acting like this, or I don't know why they're saying this, or I don't know what's going to happen next, or I don't know how this is going to go, or how this is going to unfold, or whatever. And it's giving me this energy of, you know, kind of wanting to come up with the answers to all those questions and being really occupied mentally by maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe if I say this, maybe if I do that, maybe if this happens, or maybe if this person sees us like this at this place, da da da, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh my gosh, it's endless and it's exhausting. And it's like, and what are they doing? And are they going to come back? And are they not going to come back? And the way that our mind sort of, you know, takes us down those paths that are draining, right? But with this connection, you know, the Seven of Cups is also fantasizing. And, you know, we oftentimes really fall in love with people, especially men, fall in love in the absence of the other person. When we're, you know, driving down the road, just thinking about the other person. When we, you know, and it's hard to get in that energy, right? When you feel really drained and unsure, right, of where this is going, you kind of don't want to fantasize. You kind of don't want to hope, because you're like, you know, I got to get this to a safe space before I can do that. Here, you're in a safe space. And so when you're not with this person, it's like you're dreaming, you're fantasizing, you're thinking of all the amazing things that could happen, or maybe will happen, or, you know, what your kids will look like, or, you know what I mean? Like what it would be like if this all worked out. It's really quite lovely. It's like giving this space when you're apart to kind of fall in love, or to like feel this energy of, you know, vibrancy and vitality, and like you can trust it, and like, you know what's going on, and you don't have to wonder if this person's coming back. You don't have to wonder if, you know, like how to make it work, or how to keep this person interested, or how to anything. You don't have to do that. Because you just know they're there. They're thinking about you if they're not with you. You know, that it is a safe space. You have the Five of Cups clarified by the Six of Wands. And, you know, this is victory over that energy. I actually feel, you know, it's like I was saying to you, comparison is a thief of joy. And then I said something about it feels more like an observation than a comparison. And now you have the Six of Wands, which is recognition and acknowledgement. And so it's kind of like, this is the recognition and acknowledgement that this new connection isn't that, and that you have turned the page, and that this is an entirely different experience than what you have experienced before. And in a way, it sort of takes us back to the beginning, where it's like we're talking about past relationships and how they've messed us up and how we've had to choose to heal from them. And it may even be an acknowledgement of, not only is this not that relationship, right, that I don't want any part of, right, but it also is a recognition that I'm no longer a frequential match for those kind of relationships, right? I'm in a different energy, and that's what's being reflected back to me. Sixes always talk about, you know, our harmony, what we're attracting, what we're bringing toward us. And so this is showing that we have victory over this old energy. We are not there. This is a 5, this is a 6. You know, we've progressed beyond that. We're finally much more balanced inside ourselves, and therefore balanced with other different kinds of energies or different kinds of experiences. Then you've got this gorgeous Four of Wands energy being clarified by the Chariot. And the Chariot is like, you know, I found my person. I found someone who can match me stride for stride, where we're very balanced and we move forward. We're always heading in the same direction out of like instinct and desire, and even potentially a shared plan, but we're both always driving forward. We're both always headed toward victory and success. You know, you don't have to worry about this person, you know, getting cold feet or letting fear or doubt overtake them or overcome them. And in really beautifully, on the bottom of the deck, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Even when it's hard, even when I don't know, even when I'm triggered, even when, you know, these old situations come up for me, I choose this connection. I don't choose the fear and doubt. I choose this. And every day and every time that I choose it, we're taking another step toward that victory and success. The Knight of Pentacles always crosses the finish line. He's the most reliable knight in the deck, because no matter how big or how small the step is, he takes it. And he takes it time and time again. He chooses it over and over and over again in a very reliable way here in the material world. So guys, I mean, I don't know. It's looking really beautiful. All right, if you're dealing with a water sign, you have I want to talk to you. No one else matters now. I'm ready for more than just texts. You hit me out of nowhere. Oh, they're falling in love, it feels like. If you are dealing with a fire sign, you have I'm sorry I triggered you. Guilt, distant. This is that energy. Good intentions. See, I feel like this is someone who may have pulled back for a moment. Where have you been, little grand dog? Where are you? Okay. You maniac. I didn't see you for quite a while. Were you sleeping? You know, this is someone who may feel really bad for, you know, pulling back. And I feel like they are probably going to have a conversation or explain it, or, you know, let you know what that was about. Honey, girlfriend, you're kind of a mess right now. Ladybug. All right, if you're dealing with an earth sign, you are the only one who truly gets me, honest. I thought about reaching out, but I don't know what to say. I am trying to figure things out, and I want to be vulnerable with you. See, there is that energy with the Page of Cups. I want to be vulnerable. I want to be authentic. I want you to see this. And even though it's triggering me, it's triggering that self-doubt and those feelings of inadequacy that were brought on by probably being abandoned in some way at some point. or deceived to a deep degree. I want to be that with you. Okay, if you're dealing with an air sign, you have doubting. Suddenly, all songs I hear are about you. See, you guys, resentment, hopeful, and I just need more time. All right, guys, this is what I have for you. I really hope it helps. I hope it brings you some peace and clarity. If it does, let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I am super grateful for all of your support and your beautiful comments. You guys are just absolutely amazing. I'm so honored to be on this journey with you guys. I really think you're all so special. I wish I could just throw a big party. We could all hang out. Anyway, until next time, guys, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Bye-bye.